Hey, welcome to the iPhoneography podcast. I'm Greg McMillan, and tonight we are going to have another head in the group here. I'm just going to bring everybody in. Going to bring in Dwight, Dave, and Mr. Shayne Mostyn. Hello, Shayne. How are you?
Sup? I'm good. How are you doing? That was my best
Good,
Canadian
good.
thing I could do, man.
Yeah.
What?
Dave's getting photobombed by
I'm
his
getting
cat
cat
already.
bombed, yes.
This is
Okay,
Dave's new
then.
kitten,
Yep, this is Monty.
Hello, Monty.
Monty Python.
He is right now purring up a storm.
Oh, yeah?
He gets
Cool.
along well with the other cats and the dogs.
How old's this one now?
This one's 3 months,
Oh, yeah.
so he's just a baby.
Yeah. That's cool.
But him and
I'm just waiting. I'm
Yeah.
just waiting for my dog to come in. And I'm sure she will at some point
Oh, yeah.
tonight. So,
Should I
but
get
anyway,
Sarah to go and bring a goat in or what?
yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
Somebody across town had a goat tied to the front tree of their house, and it's been there a while because the path was worn around. I don't know what the heck they were doing with a goat, but
Have you seen
cheap lawnmower, I guess.
Have you seen Boom Boom on Instagram yet?
No.
It's a bison that comes in this guy's house.
Oh, really?
Oh, maybe I have.
That's funnier than it's so funny.
Oh, no. I'm thinking of it. There's a dairy cow as well that someone in Australia uses. There's a big Holstein cow that they bring in and they do like cooking and stuff with this cow. It's ridiculous, but it's very successful.
Yeah.
I've seen, maybe that's the same one I'm thinking of. I've seen this guy, he's trying to make something, and this cow's always just like bombed over his shoulder, trying to bail in. Yeah. Yeah. That is funny stuff. But anyway, tonight we got Shayne here, so we're going to talk night photography. And we have no idea where this is going to go, but we're just going to wing it as we usually do. And but first, Shayne, just give a quick recap of what you've been up to lately.
Lately, hey, it has been, you mean on the channel or in general?
Well, we'll start with on the channel.
On the channel, there's been not much at all. The weather has been absolutely freaking terrible. To be honest, I lost a bit of mojo with the iPhone 16, and didn't affect that many people. It affected mainly people doing the low light stuff, the blue line stuff. We don't need to harp on about that, but it put me in a bit of a creative rut, let's say. And then now I'm all in the Samsung camp. Well, as far as the watch and the earphones and the phone goes, but it's good. I don't regret too much about that. Besides the apps that aren't quite there. I think on the channel itself, last year was a really bad year for weather, for astrophotography. It was like, oh, the moon's gone, so the clouds move in, then the clouds move away, and the moon comes out again. It was just a crazy time. I remember I did a trip up to Brisbane. Called into Canberra to shoot with another creator there, not Greg McMillan, you're Greg McMillan. Glenn Martin, he's an astrophotographer.
Oh, yeah.
I've had him on my live stream here.
Yep,
So I went up there to do a video, a collab with him. We ended up sitting around the fire drinking beer at my camp because it was all cloudy and it even started raining. It was a pointless exercise, but it was good to catch up. Then went up to see Dale Lotherington in Canberra, and same thing happened. It was just, we ended up just going to the pub and drinking beer because it was all just pathetic weather. And that was pretty much the year. So I ended up getting a heap of product sent to me, so to keep doing some sort of creation. The channel kind of went astrophotography product reviews, and it's a place that I liked the product, but I didn't like really what the channel kind of started turning into, more about products and stuff. I'm not going to do too much of that now. I think if I don't have good skies to shoot, I just won't shoot. That'll be the case. And
you could start a beer channel,
mate.
beer photography.
Have you seen that? That Gary Vaynerchuk? Is it Vaynerchuk? I want to say
Vaynerchuk or Vaynerchuk or something.
Yeah,
I've heard the name.
He got started on YouTube with drinking wine, doing wine reviews because his parents owned a bottle-o, or whatever you call it,
wow.
like a liquor store, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And yeah, so he just started drinking piss on that, and getting like half cut while he was drinking. And so I could just imagine if I started a beer channel, it'd be all downhill, you know. By the time this one was good, this one tastes better, and by the time you get to the fifth one, they're all awesome because you're that cut. Yeah. But yeah, off that channel, like the other channel, the Havercrack channel, the four-wheel driving camping channel, that's going just gangbusters. It's going absolutely nuts. Yeah,
and
because I'm not reliant on anything. You know, I'm reliant on just getting out there and doing stuff. And
we'll have a link in the description for that one too. Because it's a good channel. It's a good channel. I just finished watching last night your one where you were camping in the cold weather camping.
Yep. That was the most comfortable I've ever been in any setup that I own. It was.
And how cold was that?
2.
That was down to what, 2 degrees Celsius?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bloody cold.
Well, I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning sweating. It was that warm in that rooftop tent. I had to turn things down a bit. Yeah.
Well, you might as well, give a spoiler alert as to how you kept warm.
Electric blankets, mate. So there's a lot of
electric blankets in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. The four-wheel driving stuff, it's like any hobby, really. Whether you're into camping or you're into equestrian or you're into photography, it doesn't matter. You end up it becomes like an accessory sport almost. There's that many things that you can buy for that hobby. You get to a point where you go, oh, in fact, my next video was all about GAS, the gear acquisition syndrome, in camping. And the same thing happens in photography. Like, you may remember I did a live stream one time and I had like a farm or a forest of tripods behind me. Of that many tripods. And it just becomes a bit like that. Like, that's cool, I'm going to get that. That's cool, I'm going to get that. And that's just
I think there wasn't there a running bet in the chat to see how fast you could get through them?
Not after the beer episode. Not after the beer episode.
This is a monopod. I can't find the other 2 legs.
No, Shayne, I have to say your content is very engaging. I really enjoy it. I haven't looked at the camping one yet, but I like your energy and how you get out in front of the camera. It's refreshing.
Thanks, man. I think with YouTube, it's the best advice I ever had with YouTube is just be you, because everybody else has already taken. Like, just be you. And the person that, I've spent plenty of time with Greg offline, and the person that I am here, the person that I am on camera, is exactly the same person. As soon as you start like trying to act like a different thing or be robotic or something, it just no one watches that in the long term. They either like you for what you are or they don't, and that's as simple as that.
On the personal side of things, without getting too personal, but the one thing that stands to my mind is that your son is now in Australia, right?
He's always been in Australia. What are you talking about?
Well, I thought he was in Japan.
Oh, he went to Japan with me.
Oh, he didn't live there?
No.
Oh shit. Okay, never mind.
No. That's
Shayne,
your bloody accent, mate. I'm the only one here without the accent.
Now, Shayne, a very serious question. Very serious. Since you're now using Samsung, how amazing does your photos of the moon look?
I did to answer it seriously, I did a video ages ago, and I'm probably going to do it again because I think it's worthwhile doing it. Like, you guys know me well enough that if I see something to take the piss out of, I'm going to do it, yeah? And this is absolutely one of them. I did a video ages ago where I got an awesome photo of the moon, and I threw it in Photoshop and I blurred it significantly to the point where you couldn't see most of the things besides some shading. Then I put it onto a black screen, turned all the lights off in here, walked a few meters away and zoomed right in on my screen and took a photo on I think it was probably like S22 maybe, way back then. And there were details in that photo that were not on the screen. And I know they weren't there because I took them out, but they were on the photo on the Samsung. So look, it's all fun and to go, that's cool, but physics are physics, and that's just the way it is. You can't do it.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's good.
We got McSpanky in the YouTube chat says, "Hey Shayne, I've been watching your videos since before the iPhone fiasco. I'm also considering a switch from iOS to Android. Stars and space and stars have always fascinated me." So
cool. It's look. I think the iPhone stuff. Honestly, I think it's a big company. It's going to be something that I think. My gut feeling with this whole blue line fiasco is, and I still believe it to this day, there's a bad batch of sensors out there. And a lot of people have got them, they just don't know that that's the case because they're not doing what we do. It's a very niche thing that we do. So I think by the time the next series of cameras, the next series of phones come around, it probably won't be there. I'd like to think it wouldn't be there. And I know that with my dealings with Apple, I've got to be mindful of what I say, that I know that with different software updates that they were doing, it was hiding it. And it wasn't fixing it, because that's why I think it was a hardware thing, because you were simply hiding that issue. And we were in our moderator group for the Facebook, in our moderator chat for the Facebook group, we were talking about, we're always doing those updates, the beta updates and so forth. And one would go on, then and it would sort of resolve it. And I did a video about that, how it was resolved. For the most part, it was resolved. You could hide it in many cases. But then another update came in and it came back. So that tells me that you were just hiding it. Like, you could still see the lines when they'd hit it, and you could remove it in an edit. Whereas before you just couldn't. You couldn't do anything about it.
And they changed the ISO limit on that update, right? That was what made the difference?
That was the main thing. As soon as you started punching the high ISO, I think it was, from memory, it was above like,
wasn't it like
maybe
5,000 or something?
It was something like that. Yeah. And that's when the lines would appear. So if you did an astro shoot when there was a fair bit of light pollution, you probably didn't see it, to be fair. Where I am here, we get no light pollution. So when the sky is a Bortle 1 and you go out there shooting, you just got those blue lines everywhere. But when it came back after an update, it was a bit soul destroying, to be honest. And the whole experience was bad for me. And I've been an Apple person forever and a day. And like for someone to be considering going to McSpanky that said there about switching from iOS to Android. Where are we at now? We're at July. They're usually coming out in September-ish, aren't they? The new phones.
Yeah.
I would wait. Like, honestly, if I was in your position right now and you're thinking, I'm going to change to this, when you've got everything else is iOS or Apple, I would just wait a few months and see what happens. Like, the new one may not have the problem. I'm almost certainly not going to go back to it. I will go and get an iPhone, the 17, just purely for the channel. I've literally reversed what I've historically done, where I've carried an iPhone, had the Apple Watch and all that bizzo, and now I'll go the other way and just have an iPhone sitting on the shelf over there and just almost only for Star Trails, because that's the main thing I miss.
Yeah. And I mean, as much of an Apple guy as I am, I mean, on the name of the podcast and everything else I do, I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit for making that change, because your channel relied on low light photography, and it basically punched you right in the gut big time. So what's a guy to do, right? You got to do something, and there seemed to be some pretty good things coming out of the Samsung. So it only made sense for you to make that move, and I don't blame you one bit, as much as it messed up our iMessage chat stuff.
You'll be right.
Yeah,
you'll be right. You'll be right, mate.
Yeah, we'll survive.
And I mean, like you said, it is a personal thing that, the blue line, I don't think it may affect the phone I have. I have the 16 Pro Max. It may affect it. It may not, but I have enough light pollution. It probably hides it anyway, where I live. And so, and honestly, everything else that I have computer wise, I mean, personal, not ignoring work, is Apple. So if I change, it messes up me. It messes up Ruth, the iPad she uses for her work and going live and trying to, and a lot of people, it's like, you have to think, does this impact you enough to make a change? And Shayne, in your case, definitely, because it affected your income.
Yep.
That would affect your ability to do work. But I would say for most people, it's up to you whether it impacts you or not.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any stars around here. The only ones I have are some goofy people walking around about 60 miles north of me in Hollywood. So yeah, I don't see stars here very often. So
I would say some of the chemical composition of those folks, they might glow in the dark as well.
That's true. That would be some good night photography. Maybe some star trails.
Oh, there you go.
No pun intended.
Light trails, yeah. Star trails, yeah.
I'm a little shocked that if you're on the beach, you would not see some stars, or the houses and the buildings, everything built up close enough to the beach where that just washes everything out.
Yeah, I don't have a clear view. I have to get up in the mountains to do that. Up into the Sierras. Then it would probably make sense. But yeah, around here we've got smog, fog, clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Weed is legal here, so we got a whole layer of weed in Southern California. So
it's legal here too.
Yeah.
But right now, like Dwight and I were talking for a few minutes earlier today, and I said, right outside, I could see haze from a block away. And it's not because it's hot and humid, but we're getting fire smoke from Manitoba, which is up on the other side of the Great Lakes, but the wind is bringing it right down. So our air quality index is like at a 5. When on a good clear day, it's down to like 1 or barely anything. So I feel it just taking my dog for a walk, 2 or 3 blocks and then coming home again. My lungs are starting to feel a little bit, and I hate that. I don't like that at all. I can't get out and do anything.
Got to get out there for the sunsets and sunrises, mate. That smog and that smoke makes
it will make that look a little better.
I've got killer
but it's a
sunset
white
photos,
haze, right?
Yeah.
It's a white haze, and the last time we had fire smoke in the area, the sun would really look like an orangey red. What it looked like now, I don't know. Lately, it's been kind of cloudy at sunset, so I haven't really been out to try to take one. But anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about night photography. And Shayne, I'm going to get you to start with because you sent me a couple of photos here about how you find the difference between doing something like one of these, and I'll bring it up here in a second, with a DSLR compared to a phone. So I'll bring up the first one. How's that?
Yep, cool. So these are 2 photos that I sent you about this particular situation. This one here is taken with, I'm going to say that's the Sony one, I think it is, looking at it. I would say that's the Sony one. And what I just did then was pretty telltale in that, just looking at this, I'm going to say that's the Sony one. Now, I've got probably 8 photos of pretty much the same thing that I took that night with what did I do there? With Pixel, the Samsung, the iPhone, maybe the Huawei, and a DSLR. And the whole thing about doing all 4 of those captures, or all 4 of those devices, was just to tell the difference. And the main difference in the reason I sent these to you, I'll go back a little bit. The reason I sent these to you is I get a lot of comments on my videos about the people who spend a bit of money on astro gear, saying that phones can't do astro. It's ridiculous. There's no point doing it. And the point of doing that, sending you these 2, is that to just show that you can absolutely do this. And I would say that 90% of the people on the planet are in no position geographically to do this. They're exactly as they are in Dwight's situation. They're surrounded by light pollution, and they've got to go to the mountains to do something, or go on holiday somewhere, or whatever the situation is. But the whole point of the channel isn't to go and buy this phone because it's going to do astro really well. It's more a case of, do you have this phone? If you do, this is how you can do something like this with it. It's not go and buy this because it's the best at it. This is the best at it. Like what you're looking at now is the DSLR stuff. Like, and I think we get into a mindset of tech, and like the next thing that comes out, we have to like what we were talking about before with the gear acquisition syndrome. Like this is a photo from a Sony. Oh, what was that? Sony A7R3. So that's a few years old. There are definitely better cameras around to do that with. And the point of sending you both of these is, can you zoom in on those stars, Nick?
Yep.
This is a pretty good demonstration of what you can achieve. And then when you start pixel peeping this sort of stuff, you're going to see these star trails, yeah? So this is a one-shot image. So the foreground, the background, and everything are all in the one shot. If we go closer to we'll just talk about the stars for a minute. Every one of those stars has a star trail of some sort. And this is a 25-second photo. I was following the rule of 500. You are going to get star trails. Now, to achieve photos like this without star trails and to still get the same amount of depth and contrast and detail in the sky, you generally have to stack photos. You've got to take shorter images, lower ISO, take a bucket load of them, bring them onto a computer and stack them all together and then edit them once it's been processed all together. The difference between that and the phone is that the phone makes that whole process that I just said easy for everybody to do. It is as simple as putting it on a tripod or finding a dark sky, putting it on a tripod and pushing a button. And this here, look at, there's virtually nothing as far as star trails go there. And that is from putting a phone on a tripod and pushing the button. The composition isn't perfect. I should have moved that camera down a little bit to get the bottom of the tractor in. Obviously, the DSLR photo was a wider lens, but this is a pixel photo, and I still believe to this day that the pixel camera is the best for astrophotography. I just don't like it for anything else, but for astrophotography, I think it's the duck's nuts. But if you look at that tractor, if you go zoom into that tractor a bit,
just 1 second. What did you say it was?
Oh, that's who bought that shirt. Duck's nuts.
I had to.
Nice one.
Okay, so zoom in on the tractor.
Zoom in on that tractor a bit, yeah.
On the phone photo?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll do. That'll do about there. And then do the same thing if you can with the same sort of shot there, same zooming in on the other photo, just to compare the pair.
Shayne, was that native camera app or is that third-party app?
Nope, native on the Pixel. That's all.
Okay.
Just the native camera app.
Right.
Yeah. And then just go between the two, Greg.
Okay, let's see.
As in, just click on one, then click on the other. You'll see what I'm talking about here.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's a little more processed, isn't it?
It's heavily processed. Yeah,
absolutely. So the detail is. You can do more. My point of sending you both of these is that you can do a lot more with the big boy cameras. It just takes a lot more work. But for someone who doesn't do it all of the time, as in, I have this phone, how can I do this? It's perfectly acceptable these days, I think, this sort of detail out of an astro shot. To be able to pull that out of a sensor that's the size of your pinky fingernail is just freaking nuts. And
yeah,
I think these days we all talk about, we started a conversation with this, like you're not using iPhone anymore, you're using this phone now. I don't think anyone really makes a bad phone these days. I really don't.
Oh, no.
I think that
we've had a
preference. Yeah,
we've had a conversation on your live stream where we've talked about what would the perfect phone be. And we just Frankenstein everything in from different devices.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. 100%. Yep.
So, I sometimes I'll get a question from somebody like if they want to get a phone, what should they get? And I mean, I go through a series of questions with them, like, okay, what do you want to do with it? What do you have for a computer? What do your friends all use? All this sort of thing. And if I have to recommend a Pixel, I'll recommend a Pixel. I don't care. I'm not that heavy into the iPhone thing that I have to tell everybody that's what they need. You know, I want to give them the best advice for them, because if they're coming to me for advice, I don't want to give them the wrong advice. I want to give them what's best for them, right? So, that's what I do.
I think anybody taking that is remotely interested in this, you see it in the group in the Bloody Legends Facebook group. A lot of the photos in there are from people who live in places like what I do, but the rest of them are from people who are taking these photos while they're on holiday somewhere. So that I think is the beauty of doing it with the phones. As long as your phone has some sort of either night mode or astro mode, one of those two, and you have a phone holder on a tripod, you can achieve all of this. All the rest of it is just fine polishing things with light painting and editing and stuff like that. But everyone can do this. It's really not difficult.
And
that's right.
And Shayne, let me ask you, does it seem like we've kind of reached a plateau on the quality that, like you said, there's not a lot of difference between you can pixel peep, like you said, outside of the iPhone blue line issue. For an average person, or even someone who's into photography but not heavy, if you show, here's 4 pictures, I think the average person would say they all look good. They may say, I don't like this with this, or this is this here, but they're going to say it looks good. And honestly, if you look at the, not on the iPhone side, but on the Android side, the big push they're doing right now are the foldable phones.
Yeah.
It's no longer, we're going to push the bigger screens and the better cameras, and we're going to put a 100 megapixel camera on the back of a phone, and we're going to make the lens as big as the phone itself. They tried that, and they kind of went on the Samsung where you have like 4 or 5, different lenses on the back. Now they're like, okay, we're moving on to foldable because that's the new hot thing.
Yeah. Yep. I think as far as low light photography goes, I think we have pretty much reached, I'm going to say almost, the peak of what it can be, because I think that the Pixel is where it's at. And I think in saying that, the Samsung with the Astro mode on the Samsung is pretty good sometimes, whereas the Astro mode on the Pixel is very good all the time. It's never been a situation where it hasn't worked. So I think there's still some fine polishing, if you like, on some brands as far as low light stuff goes. That's if they want to chase that. This is, like I said before, this very niche thing. If everybody was doing this, if doing astro or low light photography was as popular as taking photos of your kid blowing out candles at the birthday party, they'd be investing into this. But it's just not. And that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
But I think we are very, very close to reaching the peak of what can be achieved. I think really, as far as low light stuff goes, I think that the development of the apps is probably where it's going to be more than anything else. I think what for the iPhone, what Mario has done with Even Longer is for Astro, for Star Trails, is insane. Like that's the. It doesn't matter.
He has set the bar.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible what these Star Trails can do. It's next level stuff, and I think that's it. That's what everybody should be trying to achieve in the low light space. But again, not everyone's doing this. In this group of 4 people here, I know 2 of us at least have taken astro photos. So it's not a and we're all photography people. So I don't. It's not a big.
It's a niche. It's a niche, right? Yeah. But I've always said, and I if I had a nickel for every time I've said this, I'd be able to buy a new iPhone probably. But it's the 90-90 rule, right? Apple tries to please 90% of the people 90% of the time.
Yeah,
and I think. Even the 4 of us we could probably be considered the 10%, right? Because we do specific things with our phones that probably not too many people do. And it's not just night stuff. It's the raw workflow. It's just whatever, whether it's the apps we use or whatever. Like we don't just take our phone out of our pocket and shoot it, and that's fine. That's it. It goes to social. We all do more than that. And so I think we're in the 10%. for sure. But so to kind of touch on
the
something
development. I think the development really moving forward will be apps and peripherals, like the Lumilapse, for example. That's a really good product to do the time lapses. I've got this other one here that somebody sent me. That's
there's the Lumilapse for anybody that hasn't seen one.
And this one here, I don't actually even know what it's called. Get my ugly head out.
There we go.
Yeah, it's just a little. It's like a 3D printed box.
A little dongle.
It's got a pic in there, like a programmable chip, and it just hooks in. You just need to power this basically, and this will drive Bluetooth to iPhone, Samsung, Sony. So I've had this set up with my Sony A6400, just doing time lapses, and you can program this. So it's you can program it so it shoots every 30 seconds or every 12 seconds or 3 seconds or whatever you want it to be. So it is good. There's definitely potential there. The biggest downside of this so far is that he's a German fellow and everything's in German. So all the UI, I was like, oh, okay. How many Misha Schmitz is that? I don't know. So it's a little bit, it's a little bit like that. So he is changing the UI to have it as English as well. Basically, you go to a local web host, a local hosted like web page on your device, and program it each time that you use it. So it doesn't have to be plugged into your phone or anything. It's just a Bluetooth thing. I think the potential is there in things like that. Things like star trackers, things like this sort of thing, things like apps, like what Mario does, and plenty of others do. I think that's where it's at. I don't think the phone manufacturers are going to invest too much more time into the low light stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so last week we tried something different with our recent photos, and in the comment section of that video, there was a little bit of a discussion about that, and I said, well, we've got plans for our recent photos, and they're changing again. But what we're going to do is, going forward on the podcast, we're going to try to incorporate our recent photos within the show itself. It's not going to be a segment at the end. And the reason for that is because we want to make our recent photos relevant to what the show is about as often as we can. Now, having said that, this time, it's, like Dwight doesn't have great, he has a lot of light pollution where he is. Dave has a lot of light pollution where he is. They can't get out and do night photography. It's not as easily accessible to those guys as it is for, say, me, and it's really accessible to Shayne when the bloody clouds aren't around. But so some of these photos that we're going to talk about tonight are from days gone by. So, little disclaimer on there for our recent photos thing. But we each have some photos that we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about how they relate to night photography. I've got them in order here, but I'm going to kind of mix them up just so we can spread them out a little bit. But we're going to start with one from Dave. Okay. And, Dave, you could just tell how you got this shot. Again, we're not going to do a lot of backstory stuff about our pictures. It's all going to be pertinent to the topic at hand. So this is Dave's first photo, and we're going to hear about how it relates to night photography.
Okay, so this was actually taken not too long after sunset outside.
Oh, and just before you go on, Dave, sure. just before you go on, I want to say that when we say night photography, I think it's okay to say that as soon as the sun goes below the horizon, I know you're still there's three levels of twilight before you actually hit pure night, but I think it's okay to call it night photography once the sun is below the horizon, because when you're taking a photo with the sun just gone down, like you have here, Dave, it's still getting dark.
Yeah.
Right. It's, to me, that's night.
And honestly,
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh, yeah, Greg. And also, a lot of the cameras, they can take photos that it looks a lot lighter than it actually is. I think a lot of people have taken photos where the photo, like Shayne said, you set it up, you hit the button, things turn out because of the quote unquote magic, which is a hell of a lot of engineering work magic. But if you were outside, you couldn't see where you were going. You would trip over your own feet. You couldn't see where things were. So this was actually not too long after. So this is at night. But I just was out and happened to notice the clouds on the horizon. And there was enough light where the clouds had a lot of definition to them. But it was still, the sky was, you can see the clouds just barely on the horizon there, where the sky itself, there's a couple of stars kind of coming through a little higher up from the horizon. So I just like the contrast. And this was actually taken, and this is also me playing with the Project Indigo app.
Oh, yeah.
So I noticed that it's really good for getting the far away details. And so it was like, okay, here's a shot. And I, of course, like coming out of that app, editing in Photoshop, I probably did Photomator also. Sometimes I see which one works better with the shot. But for this one, just like you said, just because it's night, there's still details that's available out there. And that's, not only do you have a little bit of natural light depending on, your horizon and how flat it is and, where the hills are around you. You also have street light. If you live in a populated area, like the roof of the house next to me, that's lit by the street light, not by not by moonlight or the last of the sunset. So that's also think about when you do have, if you're thinking about night photo, yes, it would be best no moon, cloudless sky if you're going for the stars, but there's always things out there. And always, it's amazing what it can kind of grab in terms of what the sensor can do and what you can do with it with a little bit of tweaking afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many times I've taken a shot similar to this. You see some pretty cool cloud formations just above the tree line or the rooftops of an urban area like this, and they just seem to be interesting to me. So, but yeah, I mean, these phones do tend to meter everything brighter than what they really are when it gets to, especially in like in the twilight hours, like blue hour and things like that. So yeah, it was hard to tell what time of day this was, but looking at the peak of the roof there, you can tell that there was some sort of a street light or something on there. So, it's definitely after the sun gone down. So
yeah, Greg, we might as well mention that as it pertains to the iPhone, there is a night mode. And Dave, I'm not sure if this actually kicked in for this one. Do you remember?
Well, since this was Project Indigo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But they did. But you know what though? They do have a night mode.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same as the iPhone, because, and I actually asked this in the Facebook chat that we had going when Project Indigo first came out. I said I did a 5x zoom, and it just turned out kind of muddy. And the guy said, yeah, when the iPhone zooms in at night, it uses the 1x camera because it grabs so much more light. Their app, if you do 5x, it uses the telephoto lens, which is not that good for low light. So it doesn't
smaller aperture.
Now, did you take this on the day or night mode in Indigo?
I took this on night mode. On night mode.
Okay. Yeah.
And the other thing you said about night mode was that it's limited to a 1 second shutter length, whereas Apple has given their camera up to 10 seconds.
30 seconds now in night mode.
Well, it's 3 frames of 10 seconds though.
Okay, right.
So it's 3 10-second exposures, and they're put together. So so the maximum that it can do is 10 seconds, but again, 3 in a row, right? So to give you 30 seconds. For those listening in the Bloody Legends admin chat.
It certainly used to be 1 to 3 seconds, and then it would take. So the 30-second night mode photo on the iPhone used to be 1 to 3 seconds, but 10 of them, and then they would compress that into the 30-second photo. But I think it was around, I'm going to say the iPhone 14, around about then, it changed to 3 lots of 10-second photos.
Yeah. I think it was the 13. I think that actually went 10 seconds.
Sure.
For 3 10-second shots, but
the Apple doesn't give access to third-party developers to the 10 seconds.
No.
Only 1 second. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll also say that another reason why I was just trying this with the Project Indigo, knowing that a lot of the people involved with the Project Indigo were involved with the original Pixel camera app, makes me, it was like, okay, you guys were heavy into computational, especially the early Pixel phones, where the hardware that Google was putting in just didn't match up to the top line Samsung and Apple. But we all saw what computationally you could do. So what can you do? And admittedly, this is a project, this is the lab. What can you do now that you are writing for a more powerful set of hardware? And I think I'm still interested to see where they take this too. I would say as long as it remains, I hate to say it, but I'm expecting this to eventually just be part of the paid part of Adobe eventually. Because right now it isn't.
Yeah, right now it's free. Yeah. Jumping back to what we were saying about the light pollution that we have in that, Maurice said he finally had a chance to go shoot some Bortle 2-ish skies on his 16 Pro Max. He was pretty happy with the results, but he did have those blue lines showing up. So, and he's got high hopes for the 17 Pro Max. We'll it's a crapshoot whether it's going to be better or not. I have a feeling it probably will be, because they bloody well know that it was an issue. So we'll see what happens there. So we'll take a look at Dwight. We'll take a look at your first one now, and this is obviously sun just went down.
Yeah. So I was kind of just sitting here waiting for people to walk by. I had the birds in the frame, and this definitely was in night mode. And this is a little bit older. I think per your statement earlier, Greg, I didn't have a chance to get out and do recent night photography. So, yeah, I mean, this was just simple. It's an action shot. I think this guy or gal, I can't remember who it was, saw some pollution and wanted to pick it up. So I caught that, and then the birds in the first third. But to Shayne's point earlier, these clouds out here are mixed with a little bit of smog, which is, pretty heavily, saturated in our basin here. So if there's a little bit of an offshore breeze, it'll pull that out into the ocean and make some nice sunsets. This one, I think it's an okay sunset. I've got some real nice ones, but I think this one just kind of showcases the night mode.
Yeah, I think had you got a wider view, it might have shown maybe a little better with more clouds. But the square crop looks good too. As far as with the subject matter, right? I think it fits it well.
Yeah, I had a wider. I think I had a 4:5 horizontal shot, but I just did crop it down for simplicity here.
Yeah, and when we talk about night mode, so all four of us at one time had a 16 Pro Max. And one thing I've noticed going from even just from the 15 Pro Max to the 16 Pro Max is that night mode takes a lot longer to kick in. Like it has to be a lot darker than it was for the 15 Pro Max before it would kick in.
Yeah. So Shayne, Greg, we should probably talk about that a little bit in case people aren't familiar with night mode. In the camera app on your phone, you'll see a little dot in the upper left. It looks like a half moon. If there's a line through that, night mode is not active. But if you tap it and that light is gone, than it is. So the camera will automatically detect whether it needs to be in night mode or not. And then if you swipe up from the bottom of your screen, you have that menu. You'll have that same little half moon icon there. If you hit that, it usually defaults to auto, so it'll figure out, what the night mode exposure should be. But you can also play with that slider and get a longer exposure, I think. But now you're starting to talk about using a tripod.
Yeah, for sure. Shayne, have you noticed any difference? Like, you've used a couple of different Samsung phones. Has there been any difference in how that, is there any similarities in the behavior with night mode with those phones compared to the iPhone?
No, they all work different. The with the Samsung, with Huawei, with Pixel, with all of those, you've got two options really. One is using its night mode or its /astro mode, and all of them are going to do a certain duration handheld, just like the iPhone. So the iPhone, you can do a maximum of 10 seconds. If it's dark enough, 10 seconds handheld. But once it's on a tripod, you can go to 30. And it's the same with the other phones as well. Like Pixel won't go to the Astro mode unless it identifies that it's on a tripod. And that just does that through motion sensors. But all those phones have an inbuilt manual mode as well, which is instant. So you can take a 30 on a Samsung, you can take a 30-second photo, you push that button and it's shooting that 30-second photo. There's no delay whatsoever. And at the end of it, there's bugger all processing that happens. It does happen, but it just seems to happen quicker than what the iPhone does. But again, we are to steal your phrase, we are pulling the fly shit out of the pepper. We're talking about next to no time here. It's not something that I would go, this is an issue, it needs to be resolved. It's just not. If you can't wait for, an extra 2 seconds for that image to resolve itself, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Devo.
Directly from the Bloody Admin chat, Devo from the UK just joined and you said 30 seconds. And
yeah.
Every video that Shayne puts on his photography channel, it doesn't matter what it's about, Devo will have some way of working in 30 seconds into a comment.
Yeah.
Oh,
the funny thing is on that 4-wheel drive channel, I've got an awning on the side of my language.
Oh yes.
The brand is actually a 30-second awning. Guess how long it takes to set up? But it's he saw that, took a screenshot. And he's like, how long does this take?
Yeah,
I can't escape it. And I think that if there's been a few times where people have gone, like they've commented in a frame of mind of like, what the hell is wrong with you? Of course it is how. It's just an inside joke. Just leave it be. It's pretty funny. I can't escape it. Yeah.
I knew something else was going to come in. Oh, wow. These guys.
It's like we got the band back together all of a sudden.
Yeah, it seems like it, doesn't it? We're just missing Kirk Hammett.
That's it. I was just about to say Kirk. I was waiting for you to say Lotherington, but no, it's not.
Yeah.
So I've got this funny line of sun coming through this gap in these blinds here. I don't normally live stream at this time of day, and now I've got this line of it's like Morse code coming down my face.
Dwight can relate. Dwight looked like a zebra one time. He had sunlight stripes coming across his face like this. But
like an 80s film clip.
Yeah. So next we're going to look at something out of Star Wars.
Whoa.
I
thought this was really cool, so I specifically requested Shayne to send this one in.
He did. This is so there's actually quite a few things with this photo. There's like the top left-hand corner of that is actually part of the galactic core. Mm-hmm. It's just where I wanted this shot to be wasn't quite there, but if you look in the background behind that torchlight, you see the sky is like a pinky green color. That's Aurora Australis coming up, and I didn't know that was happening, by the way. Like, I got out there. This is actually from a video. This is one of the shots from a video. And I took some shots and I was like, well, damn, there's an aurora happening. And then got a bit excited about that. You got the Magellanic clouds that are sitting there on the right-hand side of it as well. Those two kind of like white blurry spots. And this was actually taken with the Samsung on Astro mode. So it's got its own inbuilt Astro mode. It goes for 4 minutes, 7 minutes, and 9 minutes, I think it is, or 12 minutes, something like that. And there's no difference that I can see between any of those. But if you're going to do the 4, just do the 4. Like there's nothing to gain really in doing the longer exposure.
Yeah, I remember you showed the differences on that video, and you really couldn't see anything.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember what video it was.
I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was that video there. You showed the difference between, the 4 and the, all the different lengths of time. They almost look identical.
Yeah. The hardest thing to do with this particular photo, because it's a 4-minute long photo and you cannot hold something that still for 4 minutes. And I'm pretty sure I left it all in the video where I would try it for a certain amount of time, then try it for a certain amount of time. And this is actually the torch, this one here. What is it? Trust Fire. This is actually something that someone sent me on the other channel. But I don't know if you know much about these torches, but it's actually a laser torch. It's actually a class 3 laser, this thing, but it's a torch.
So that's not really the Northern Lights in the background. That's a bunch of plane crashes.
Well, and also let me interject real quick. When Shayne says torch, for those of us in the U.S., I believe you're talking about a flashlight.
Yeah.
Not because when I hear torch, being an American, I think of something with flame on it.
Yeah.
I reckon if you held this on something for long enough,
for that most definitely, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like a welder's torch is when I hear torch. I'm thinking like a welder's torch, not something that where light's coming out of it.
It's the downside of having an audience that's global. I'll often do this sort of thing and then forget about that, and then I'll have a mindset of trying to speak with the language that people in America uses, like flashlight. I'll say flashlight in some talk. I'll say flashlight in some videos. And I did a video on my other channel talking about electric chainsaws and petrol chainsaws. See, in Australia, we'd call that a petrol chainsaw. But in my thumbnail, I was like electrical gas, because in my head, I was like my American audience. And all these Aussies are going, dickhead, they're petrol. Anyway. So this thing here will go, they say it goes 1.6, I think, so a mile. They reckon this will go. And I believe it. So when this leaves the torch, it's like 1.5 inch beam. And when it gets to like 150 meters away, because it's actually a hunting torch, when it gets to like 150 meters away, that beam is about 1.5 inches wide. It is pencil sharp the whole way through, which is why I was able to get that. And I don't know how far that ended, but as soon as I saw the torch at night, well, when I first got it to review it, I went outside and I shined it. I was like, oh my God, it is insane how sharp this thing is. And my first thought wasn't the four-wheel drive channel, which I was actually sent the torch for, the flashlight. It was like, this is going to be an amazing photo. So I went out and shot this photo. And I did a heap of it, heap of different attempts at getting it right, but because it's taking the way that phone works, it's taking, what is it doing? From memory, it's doing like 10-second shots and overlapping them. So the way that I ended up resolving, because what was happening, I would take a photo, I'd have my silhouette, and then I'd move, because that's the way I would do it with the big boy cameras. I'd take a 30-second photo, I'd stand in the shot for like 10 seconds and just get out of the way, and it wouldn't be a big deal. And with this, what was happening, I was getting like a shadow silhouette of myself full of stars from after I'd moved, and it was bringing them into the photo. So what I ended up working out is that I could stand there well enough, like shine the torch for, shine the flashlight for maybe 10 seconds, maybe. That's why it's not as pencil sharp as it really is. And then just turn the torch off and just stay there for the rest of the shot. Then it's no big deal. And then I got the best that I could get in that duration. I hope that I explained that very well.
No, you did. And I think that would be really interesting for night trails. Like you can flip that thing all over the place.
Yeah.
That would look really cool.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'll probably give that a go, actually, now you've said that. I think that would be a really good exercise to do with something like even longer light trail painting.
Yeah.
Light trails. I think that would work pretty damn well. Yeah.
Yeah. Just real quick, Shayne, just kind of tell everybody why Even Longer is so good at star trails.
Even with the star trails on Even Longer, it's all manual, so you can adjust everything manually. He's got a pretty good base setup for automatic, but you can fine tune it all well enough. The best thing about it, though, is that he has in his algorithm to blend all of this together, it removes satellites, shooting stars, planes, all of that. So you don't actually see them in the end photo. Whereas before, you'd have to manually go in. So if I did and I have at Mount Hope out here, I've got, say, a 4-hour-long star trail photo, so like star trail photos, and it's a perfect circle above the peak of Mount Hope. It's ripper photo. It's my favourite star trail photo. And I did it with Even Longer in that mode, and I've done it with the Huawei, which has built-in star trail mode. The Huawei has there'd be 150 lines going through it that shouldn't be there. Well, they should be there because there's satellites and stars and planes. But Even Longer has none of it. It just automatically takes it out. It's very clever what he's done there. That's why I think it's the best. It saves you hours and hours and hours of editing, because with star trails, you want those solid lines, yeah? And once you start taking out those straight lines that are the planes, satellites, and so forth, you're also cutting through all of those curved lines.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell you've taken these things out unless you do it like a little bit between each star trail, and it takes an age to do it. So to be able to just push a button, come back in a few hours or all night or whatever the situation is. Mm-hmm. So I was confident enough with that app that I could, out in the backyard, I could set up, push green for go. Well, that's not the term, but that's not you push the shutter button and go to bed and wake up in the morning at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, go out, stop it, done. And it saves it all at intervals. So if it all crashes in the middle of the night, you've still got all the intervals. It's from an astrophotographer's point of view, it's sensational. I haven't seen anything come close to it yet. A lot of apps have star trail modes, but they don't do anything like what Mario's done with that. It literally saves you hours and hours and hours of editing.
And the colors that come out of the stars.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, of course, yeah.
Now, is that the only one you can 100%. Shoot in RAW, I believe?
For star trails,
at least
it definitely shoots RAW.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Reflex may. Oh no, Reflex doesn't.
No, I don't think
maybe Re-expose may shoot star trails in RAW.
Okay.
But again, you're going to end up with roughly the same image, just with a shitload of lines.
Right.
Yeah. I'll go on to the next one if you like, Greg, and I'll find the photo and I'll send it to you.
Okay. So speaking of lines,
hey.
This is one that I did. I believe this was the evening that I got my 16 Pro Max. So, I mean, new phone. It was a Friday night. I had to go out and try to do something. And I knew this Midway, as we call it, was in town with all these rides. It was in the mall parking lot. And, I saw all these lights and everything else. And man, I was just having a heyday walking around with my phone on the tripod, and I was trying the native camera app. I was trying reflex on the long exposure setting. I was trying reheld. I was using, and this one I believe is slow shutter cam, and I wasn't even paying attention to what settings and everything else I was doing. I was just making a composition adjustment just to get the shot. I just was just excited to get all these shots, and I probably spent a good 45 minutes there because it wasn't a real big Midway. There was only like maybe, I don't know, a dozen different rides and things going on. But, I was enjoying just getting, shots of the people on the midway walking along and all this stuff. Just really having some fun with some nighttime stuff. And this is, I believe this was maybe, I want to say about 10 seconds with slow shutter cam, something like that. Might not have been that long, but, and so, I took a few different ones and I just tried to hone in on the exposure to try to get it the best I can in camera. But I did do a little bit of adjustments just in photos, just a real quick, a little bit of vibrance, maybe some saturation, contrast, and just added a vignette. But that's about all I did with this. So the white part in the middle, it's a little overblown like that because that part was pretty stationary. It was just kind of going around, on an axis in the center of the ride, but everything else was just kind of going up and down and around, but just really produced this really cool effect. So, light trails is a lot of fun, and I'd love to see you do a video, Shayne, with that flashlight and some light trails or something with it. But it was just a lot of fun. The orange lights and everything else, it just really jumped off the screen at me when I took it. And I thought, yeah, this is cool. This is fun stuff. So, if you ever have an opportunity to go to a place like this where these rides are on at night, take your tripod and go have some fun because it is a blast.
Yeah, Greg, that's spectacular. I mean, I do that on purpose because I use these for textures for my digital art. And this is a similar pattern that I used on one of my submissions to the Mobiography Awards. And you can really do some super neat stuff with that. I was going to ask you if that was handheld or on a tripod. So I think you just confirmed that. It makes sense.
Yeah. Everything I shot that night was tripod. Even the reheld shots, I just left it on the tripod.
Yeah, that's really cool. And that blown out area, whatever, if it's blown out, I don't think it matters. That's just, I think that's part of the fun of this thing.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if you're, let's say you see this and you weren't prepared, didn't bring a tripod, you can, put it on. You could try putting it on a table somewhere or a shelf, and just kind of, use, if you're going to let it go, depending on the app, see if there's a countdown timer. You can kind of get set up, hit the shutter button, give it 3 seconds for all the little movements and the shake that happens after you hit the camera. And honestly, when I see this, I think of a spirograph.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too,
Yeah. It looks like a neon spirograph that a kid would do. And I always loved those. So it just turned out so neat.
What I find interesting about this is there's no gaps. And whenever I've used, you can maybe see some in the redder stuff at the red, deeper colored stuff at the back. There might be some like a Morse code look. But whenever I see phone stuff that's done with a long exposure, you usually see a Morse code. And I was wondering if you had ND filters on this to push the shutter out further. But on the back ones, there's a little bit of Morse coding, but that's again the fly shit pepper thing.
Well, you know what? That could have been the lights flashing.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Because I'm pretty sure, I'm not pretty sure. I mean, I don't know if I can't remember, but, a lot of these rides have flashing lights on them as well.
Yeah. Okay.
But when you look at the purple, just about a third of the way in from the right-hand side, there's purple there and you can see it.
Yep. Yep.
Another possibility is if they're LEDs, it could be the frequency.
Could be, yeah.
Or it could be exactly what you said. It could be the Morse code. Because
but you can definitely get around that with the ND filter. You put an ND filter on there. If you shoot for a second, you'll remove those. I was wondering if you did that.
Yeah. No, there was no filter or nothing. I was just, honestly, I was like a little kid out there just taking pictures of this and this and this and this. And I believe I went out of town later that night, or maybe it was right after this, because this was in September, late September. So this could have been around 8:00 at night. I don't know, but I know for a fact I went out and did some Milky Way stuff after this. So I was just excited to be out shooting and trying out the new phone. But but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm just going to see who I can pick on here next.
I just sent you those 2 shots of the Huawei and the even longer photo.
Okay. All right.
When you get a chance, it'll explain things so much easier than what I was trying to.
Yeah. Norman said the Northern Lights are a very different proposition, and getting dramatic images with the Northern Lights is a good challenge.
Yeah.
So, we've had some pretty good solar storms in North America. Where did you send them, Shayne? Email? Okay.
Email, yeah.
Yeah. We've had some pretty good Northern Light displays as far down as, like, I don't know, probably, well, let's see. I heard that they were even as far down as Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year, we had 2 phenomenal displays, one in May, one in October. And I went out on both of them and just took a ton of pictures. And the funny thing is that the colors were different from one to the other. And I guess that makes sense because the effects of the solar flares and that, they're not going to be identical by any means, but
right. Depends on what's in the atmosphere and everything else too.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to get these. All right. So, I'm going to show you this one first. There we are.
Oh, there's those lines you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully you can see it on the live stream. There's, this is, I think from memory, it was like 4 hours maybe of star trails. And all those lines that you see through, this is a photo from Huawei P40 Pro, which is a fantastic camera. This is out of the camera app on that phone. But you can see there all of the shooting stars, all the satellites, all the airplanes, everything.
Now, Shayne, do you still have Photoshop?
Yeah.
And does that remove tool work well on those lines, or does it chop it up?
It does sometimes, and other times it's going to chop it up.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
But I could see why if you were trying to remove these manually, it would take you a long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other photo from even longer, that's it.
Wow. Yeah, that's brutally crazy. That's
beautiful. And the foreground's clearer too on this one.
Yeah. Yep. There is, so this is unedited as well. And there is, so it's accurate removing, this is just to answer the question that Greg asked about why is this better. So this is unedited, but if you look just to the right of where you are there's a slight line coming down from the right down to the top there. Very slight. So it hasn't actually taken everything. It's accurate like to 99% of the lines coming in. So you could definitely move that with some pretty good ease. But as Greg said, the color, there's another one just there. I see on the bottom of near the horizon there.
That's easily removable.
That compared, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. But the color in the stars is amazing. I haven't seen another app that brings the colors out like that. It's pretty damn special app, that one.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah, and I did try that in my backyard. And you don't need to have a dark sky for it to work well.
No, definitely not. No.
No, because
doing star trails was kind of my go-to when the moon becomes an issue. Like all that mountain that you can see there, all the rock, all the trees, that's all just lit up from the moon. The moon was behind me, over my right shoulder.
So just to compare the coloring, there's the Huawei, and everything is just white.
Mm-hmm.
Not
that that's a bad thing, but
no. That's where most apps are. That most app, even on the re-expose, on slow shutter, all those things. When I first started doing this sort of thing on the channel, you may remember, Greg, you were there from the early days. It was I was trying every app that I could get my hands on that would shoot longer than a second.
Yeah,
and just trying. And every one of them did similar to what the Huawei does here. Even longer is the only one that I've seen that puts such color into the stars automatically. Like you can do this with single shots, then do it all manually yourself. But this is the only app that I've seen that will do it all for you.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Okay, so next we're going to look at Dave's,
Yeah.
and this is an abstract of something. But
It is, but
Dave, you'll have to
before
let
I
us
get to that, I do want to mention that I did put a link for a light pollution app or a light pollution site in the YouTube chat.
Okay,
So that will actually tell you your Bortle number depending on where you live.
right.
So
Okay.
now this
Yeah,
is now
we'll have that in the show notes.
right now when we were talking about what we're going to do, and it was night image, and I was looking around, trying to find night images, and I went to sleep. I was about to go to sleep, and I looked at the wall, and I looked at the light that was coming through the window, and this is a combination of the fan I had in the room has a blue status light, and the room being dark. So the blue there is and this is the light coming through the window being shown on the wall. So I just took a wide angle because there was multiple things there, and there were 3 or 4, light bits on the wall. And this is the one that kind of grabbed me because it looks the most. I kind of like the abstract look to it and the colors that came out. So I just kind of cropped it down to this only and did some, adjustments in like Photomator and Lightroom, I think, or I think those were the two main ones I used, Lightroom Mobile, just to get it out. So I took it just to kind of show to do night photography does not necessarily mean, have a beautiful sky that's available. Look around and see what you can find that can give you something different at night.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was looking through some pictures to show tonight, and there was one of, one of my dogs sleeping on the couch, just lit by a lamp. And I think it's an interesting picture, but it's just another example of, like you say, what you can shoot at night. Again, it doesn't have to be all stars and all this stuff. So this is a good example of what you can do at night, and just look around and just see what strikes you. You know, if you're sitting in your house, like I've done that before too. I've been sitting at home, and it's not always at night, but sometimes it's during the day. But it's just the way the light comes through a window and catches something, right? Like one time, it was the dishes in the sink with all the bubbles and stuff. It would just, that's pretty cool. So I took a picture of it. This is like a few years ago, but yeah, I mean, definitely just keep an eye out for anything that strikes you. And, especially when it's at night and everything's dark except where the light's hitting the wall, it kind of makes for an interesting abstract because I see the profile of a person.
Yeah. It almost,
right? Like,
it kind of gave me an Easter Island feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
The big,
I thought the same thing.
The big heads on Easter Island, yeah.
The lips on the
I thought
bottom.
it looked like one of those Easter Islands, and he's put all those like fluoro paint on to go to some rave or something. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave, so I get the same thing on my wall, and my wall next to my bed is kind of a beige. So my neighbor's security light, when it comes on, comes through my French windows on the slider. So I get a nice pattern on there, and the beige makes it look sepia. So I've taken photos of that, and I've actually done artwork with it where I'll superimpose like a shadowy figure in there, for something spooky. Yeah. Yeah, so I get this. I get the Easter Island thing too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So then now we'll look at Dwight's second one here.
Yeah, so there's nothing real spectacular about this. What I wanted to do was feature this because it is the Project Indigo app. And what I found really interesting was, again, that's a 1 second exposure. What I found was it obviously works hand in hand with Lightroom, right? Because it's an Adobe product. So I brought the photo into Photoshop, which, since it's a DNG file, it brought me over into Adobe Camera Raw, which is, the Lightroom equivalent in Photoshop. and assign, if you're familiar with profiles in Camera Raw, you can change the profiles from, Adobe Standard, Adobe Color, whatever profiles you have loaded in there for your particular camera. It auto-populated the Indigo profile, which I thought was super interesting. So I hit the auto button, and it really messed up the whites and blacks. And I had to work pretty hard to kind of get those in tune. But what I liked about this one is it just doesn't look over processed to me, as a normal iPhone photo would be. It just looks a lot more natural. Now, I did take this with the Indigo camera in night mode. So yeah, I just wanted to showcase that. It's nothing spectacular, but this is just a tree on the side of the house.
I think it's a testament of what that app's capable of. Sometimes you'll see real estate listings with the home, lit up at night, or at twilight, or like similar to what the time of day is for you there in this shot. You can still see some of the light in the sky, blue hour, whatever you want to call it. And with the lights on in the house and that, sometimes they'll have like pot lights outside or whatever that really good, nice accents, right? And that would be a really cool shot, just to have like a picture of a home with the lights on. And the Project Indigo looks like it would do a pretty decent job with it, just judging by this here for
yeah, I took a bunch of photos around kind of the perimeter, and it did do a really good job. I kind of I compared them with the iPhone photos as well. There was a light on this tree, Greg. I took it out because it was too blinding, to look at it. It was too distracting. But I think that, the viewer thinks the light might be behind them, when they look at this. So I didn't think it was too unnatural. The sky in the background, I had to tone down. It was still a little bit bright, so I isolated that color and brought down the saturation and lightness. I didn't want the viewer's focus going back there. And then the light on the side, halfway up or 3/4 of the way up, that's from another accent light in the front. And I just toned that down a little bit just to keep the focus on the tree.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's cool.
This is a rare occasion where I look at a photo from a phone and don't think it's from a phone, because it doesn't look processed at all.
Yeah, I can't stand that processed look, Shayne. It really bothers me. So I try everything I can to not get a super crispy, overbaked photo. It drives me crazy, and I just think that this just looks more natural. And I haven't really seen a photo yet in actual night mode that looks this natural.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's pretty bloody impressive, I think, from a phone. That, to me, looks like a DSLR image.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that Project Indigo is it's a it's a pretty good app. It just has some quirks about it that make me not use it all the time. Like it's always blending frames. So if you take a shot, and the way it works, have you heard much about it, Shayne?
No, Russell sent me something about it, and I've got to be honest, I haven't even looked at it yet.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It takes it.
Studying the photo. Yeah, Monty's studying the photo here. So
yeah,
probably sees a lizard. Yeah. No, it's that Project Indigo is interesting. It takes a bunch of photos and then puts them together. However, and Greg, I found this interesting as well, is it doesn't do so well on a tripod. The actual algorithm in the app actually wants a little bit of shake, and that kind of is how it separates the frames, and it's easier for it to come together in a final image. So,
yeah,
I mean, my opinion on it, there's some quirks on it now, but it's got Adobe behind it. And I think it's a pretty spectacular first release. It can only get better. So I'll probably stick with it. I don't know if it'll be my go-to camera. What I'm finding myself doing is taking a picture, say, with the Reflex app in RAW, and then one in this app, and then just kind of comparing them. And I'll just keep an eye on the journey. They
will have an Android version at some point. That's in the works, I guess. So, but But basically what it does is as soon as you open the camera app, it's buffering frames, but very very much like the Apple camera app. So you can set it to up to capture once you hit the shutter button and it captures. You can have it set to capture up to 32 frames, and as low as 1, I think. And so that's basically what it does. And I took a shot of a lake freighter across the bay, and I even went on Google Earth and did a measure to see how far away it was from where I was standing, and I believe it was about 450 meters, and which I think was almost 700 yards, and it brought it in so big in the frame. It was unbelievable. But I used Project Indigo, and you can go 5 times native with the 16 Pro Max or 15 Pro Max. You can go 5 times native, but then you can also go 10 times super resolution. And I think that's basically just cropping the sensor to give you a 12 megapixel shot. Same as like what the Apple camera does with the 2X, right? It crops the sensor.
Then you can finger zoom to 25, which is a no-no on the regular camera app, but it still computes. It blows my mind how close you can get.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But for the shot that I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Craig.
I'll just finish up real quick.
Yeah.
The shot I did, I put my reflex 240 on, which is basically like a doubler, like a two times factor there. So, excuse me, it really got the detail like really well. I couldn't believe how well it did. But anyway, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, but I was about to say I just again partially just testing, try and take pictures from of some houses on the hill across the river, and going from 1X, which is it's pretty far, going to the 25 handheld, and you could tell that someone had a grill on their back patio.
Wow.
And it wasn't just like a blob. You could actually see it like, oh, that's if someone was standing on their patio, you could make out a human being.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. So you might have to steal Sarah's phone, Shayne, and give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Provided she's got a 14 and above on the non-pro phones.
Oh, and there's motion blur on it. I don't think they have light trails yet.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful app. So, but 2 episodes ago, we did a show on Project Indigo, and it was our best performing YouTube video next to one that I did a few years ago with David Addison about an astro shot. We had I think we've got over 2,000 views on it now. It's crazy how it took off. Now we're going to look at one from Shayne again, and it's a panel.
Hey, that's an iPhone photo. I thought I should probably put an iPhone photo in the show.
Yeah, thanks, Shayne.
Yeah. This is, I'm going to say it's about 9 photos, I'd say. This was taken about this time last year at about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. On that trip that I was telling you about, where it was all rained out and everything. This was like almost on the last. It was the last stop before reaching Brisbane, and that morning it was cloudless. That night actually it was cloudless as well. So I ended up shooting a video, and I shot this in the morning. But behind me is the ocean. The way that the bay sort of worked, I just happened to be able to get this at that time. And so the water that's in front there is like from runoff from the hills that are off to the left there a bit. But this is, I think it's 9 photos. There's 9 vertical shots. And if you haven't done this sort of thing before, the way that I would say to do it is find, as you set up your frame for the first shot, take the galactic core out of it. So the far left-hand frame of this, I would have cut off a section of it just because the way it would overlap into the panorama. So you're looking, the way that I would do this is I look for a bright star on the right hand. So if you're going left to right in this situation here, you'd look for a bright star on the right-hand frame of the shot. then take the photo, then move that so that bright star is roughly in the center of the shot, then take another photo, and then look for another star and just repeat, just rinse and repeat. Do that as many times as you want to do it. Then by overlapping as far as you do, so you don't really have to go that far on a regular big boy camera. You can do it to bring that right-hand star all the way to the left-hand side of the frame, and it will still stitch together well. But as we were talking before about the way that an iPhone, especially the way it meters, you generally get a glow in the center of the frame. So by overlapping as far as I was talking about there, you tend to lose that glow. So that glow resolves itself in this frame here below that galactic core. So you see how it's like a bit hazier at the bottom compared to above the stars? That's because of the way it meters. But if we were to overlap it further, further, you would get a lot of banding through the shot. There is a little bit of banding in this that I can see just because I've edited it so I know where it is. But if you overlap it at the rate that I'm talking about, as in more than what you would normally have to, you tend to lose it a bit. And this is all done with, what's it called, BioStitch?
Oh, yeah, the mobile app.
But yeah. This is all 100% done on the phone. And cool. I think that to be able to do that on a phone is sensational.
After you posted this, I went out and tried it, and I failed miserably. But I think it was because the Milky Way went over like fairly high in the sky, whereas this looks like it's a little lower in the horizon.
Well, you can definitely do, using this app, you can do vertical panoramas. So you could shoot, so when can you just minimize that for a second? Just so people can see this. So that photo was taken like this, yeah?
Yep. And
then put them all together. For vertical stuff, you would put the camera horizontal and then take up photos like this.
Yeah.
The app will still bring them together. So if you've got, obviously the galactic core moves through the sky at different times of the year. It's going to be in different, and times of the night going to be in different parts of the sky. But if you're in a situation where that galactic core is going straight up above your head, you would shoot something that's interesting in the foreground is going to make the shot.
Yeah.
And then just do the vertical panorama. Like if you go back to that photo again, but without that foreground, this isn't an interesting shot. This is just that's kind of cool. But without that water there and the reflection of the stars, I don't think that's an interesting shot. But if you were going to do a vertical one in this situation here, I would probably, I'll be moving myself so that I've got the stars in the foreground in the water and maybe a tree on the horizon. So it's still interesting. I think having the foreground stuff for anything astro is important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So there's a question in the chat here that Shayne that you might be able to be best to answer. Do we have
I was looking
through the
for
lens
it and I
speed
can't
lights?
find it.
Hey?
Yeah, there is one, and I saw that there. I'm trying to find the name of it. Russell Brown uses one.
Oh yeah.
I can't think. One light and an iPhone. Is this the one? I'll just carry on with it, mate. I'll do some research while I'm looking for this. There is one that does it. I just can't remember the name of it.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see here. So we've seen both of Dave's, both of Dwight's. I guess mine's the last one to have a look at here.
Yep.
So, I mean, I was trying to figure out what to include here in night shots, and I was going to put a Milky Way shot in. I thought, no, we've seen them. And Shayne, you had a couple in there, so I thought, well, I'm not going to saturate it all with Milky Way shots. So I thought, well, this was taken on a night when I was chasing the Northern Lights, and it clouded over. So I thought, well, I'm still awake. This is after 3 a.m, and what am I going to take a picture of? Well, okay, it had rained earlier, and I thought this is a good example of the best way to shoot streets at night is when they're wet, because you've got the reflection of street lights, traffic lights, that sort of thing. And I just wanted to kind of illustrate that if you're going to go do night photography in the city streets and that, try to do it on a rainy night or after it rained when they're wet, because if I'd have done this when the street was dry, it would have looked so bland and so, just plain. It wouldn't have had any, wow factor, in my opinion. Like it's not a great shot, really. It's just an empty street at 3 a.m. with one car going up it. But the point I wanted to make was to get the reflection of the water or of the rain. Had I spent more time trying to make a good composition, I probably could have had a little more interesting shot. But the whole point of this was to illustrate for night photography, what to do when it comes to shooting the streets and stuff at night. So try to get a rainy night. I mean, even in the movies, when you see a night scene in a city on a movie, chances are the streets are wet.
Yeah.
And if it didn't rain, they'll run a water truck up the darn thing, because it just makes for a better appearance, whether it's on film or in a still. So that's basically my tip for shooting streets at night, is do it on a rainy night.
Yeah, Greg, I really like this, the aesthetic on this thing. You didn't oversaturate it. It's got a film-like look. I like the oranges and kind of the teal look on this. I think this is a fantastic example of what we're trying to talk about here tonight. It looks like it leads into a bridge off there onto the left, so that's kind of an interesting leading line. One trick I learned was, if you have a water bottle and the streets are dry, just empty the water bottle in the street and then put your phone upside down and get it real close to the water, and you can get a nice reflection shot.
Oh yeah,
right there. And those sometimes turn out really cool, if you have a dry street.
Yeah. And well, I was actually standing on a bridge, and that leading off to the left is a hill that goes up towards my house.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You were close.
Now, Greg, did you try to do any black and white editing on here? Because it almost has like a film noir look to it.
I didn't do that, Dave, but now you got me thinking. Yeah, I might give it a go. Yeah. And I got a few other shots that night of the streets, so maybe there's something that might be a little more appealing to me in my own mind here, and I'll maybe try a black and white and see what I come up with.
And that would look good in 16:9 too.
Yeah. Yeah. I did crop a little bit off the top and off the right-hand side, just to try to balance things out a little bit. And there was even a traffic light hanging down a little bit just in the center of the top of the frame there. It was just the bottom 2 or 3 inches of the metal traffic light frame.
Okay.
So I took it out with touch retouch because it was just annoying, and it had no place in the composition. So how you going with that research, Shayne?
Yeah, it's a Pro Photo Flash is what the brand is.
That's it, Pro Photo. I was trying to think of the name.
Yeah. The one that I think that's definitely the brand, and I think the one that Russell uses is the A10. I'm fairly sure it is, and he does a lot. But there is a caveat on that, in that you have to use the Pro Photo app. It's not going to work with the native camera app, so you have to use their app, and it will trigger the flash TTL for you.
Right. I
haven't used it. They asked me a long time ago to do work with them, but my channel isn't about portrait photography with a flash. It just didn't make sense. Russell uses that. I know he also uses, if it was me personally, I wouldn't be using a flash with iPhone photography. I would use constant LED lighting if you want to do portrait photography.
Yeah.
It'll just turn out better. There's less things to go wrong. You can see how it's going to look in the viewfinder before you even take the shot. Plenty of people use, even with regular big boy cameras, portrait photography with constant LED lighting. That's what I would use.
Yeah, I would agree, Shayne. I've never used the flash on my iPhone.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't use the flash on the phone. It's a separate flash.
Bluetooth flash, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just the point of using a flash as opposed to constant light.
Yeah.
I think I would agree. I think I would use some constant lighting. And Will Newcomb joining us from the UK. You must be traveling. Obviously, he's traveling because he lives in China.
Yeah.
So good to see you, Will. You'll have to catch up later because we are actually just about finished here. I think we've covered a lot of different aspects of night photography, with our pictures, and I'm sure there's a lot of different things that we could cover, to continue the discussion. But I think we've done quite a bit. So, we've always had a link for your YouTube channel and the Facebook group in the show notes, Shayne. But I'll definitely include a link to the Have a Crack channel. And as I'm editing this, I will. Hey,
you're a good bloke. I'm going to have to stop saying all that stuff about
you. I'll try to put any links to stuff that we've talked about in here as I'm editing it. I listen to the audio back again, so you can imagine it's going to be a lengthy edit, but that's fine. I got to be up late tonight anyway because I got to work tomorrow night. But so any pertinent links, I'll put them in the show notes, and of course, as you know, the pictures will be in the podcast player as we've been talking, and certainly you've noticed that by now, especially if you're listening to this, and this is near the end. But what else was I going to say? On the YouTube channel, if you're still with us, and if you've watched this far after the fact, don't hesitate to give it a like and to subscribe. We're getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers, which is like incredible. The growth has been completely organic, and it's been. I bet you we've doubled our subscribers in the last year, if not just this year alone, and we're only in July. So it's growing, and I'm liking that. And we're trying to do the best we can to make it a little more appealing to everybody. So that's why we've changed things around with our recent photos and stuff like that. So we're hoping that works and gets a few more eyeballs and ears on the audio side. But any last things you want to plug, Shayne, before we go?
Not to plug really. I think I've listened to you guys for bloody ages, and it's something that I've always had in my head that this would be what you guys are doing here would be one of the hardest things to grow on. So to grow like you have, I think is a credit to you. I think having a topic that is purely visual and you're doing it on an audio platform and you're still growing, I think is good. It's bloody good.
Yeah,
thanks.
Thank you. I think we've and I've got ideas. I've got ideas, for the channel.
It's time to get out of here.
Well, one thing we're going to do, and I got to get off my butt and get it organized, is Dwight's going to do some editing videos. So him and I are going to come on here on YouTube. It's going to be YouTube only. And we're going to, he's going to go through some edits, to show people how he edits his iPhone photos, and hopefully people can get some tips and gain some knowledge on how to do that. And it's most likely going to be on the desktop, because that's where he does his edits. And I really look forward to it. And one of these days, Dwight, I'm going to say, okay, what are you doing on this day at this time? And we're going to bloody well do it.
Sounds good. And Shayne, I'm super excited to have you in the same room. I don't think I've had this opportunity yet. And good hanging with you tonight. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah. So, Dave, anything coming up on AwesomeCast that you can give us a heads up on?
Well, they're going to have a guest on the July 15th one. I only have a few details. I don't want to go too much into it because I only saw like a little bit of PR website, but there is a special guest coming on for that. And it involves holograms and practical holograms. Not the cheap things that we grew up with were like, oh, look, shiny hologram. This is actually like a tabletop thing that's a 3D visualizer without glasses.
Oh.
Or without having
so
to
like
use
Princess
your phone.
Leia, help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only
Pretty
hope.
much, yeah. Seriously, at least the promo they gave, it pretty much like, okay, we want to design a factory or something. Well, here's the layout, and you can walk around it and see how things fit together, which is a kind of a big deal.
And that's on the 15th.
Yeah, that is tomorrow.
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 Oh, okay,
well,
cool.
I don't want to just say tomorrow because of
today.
Well,
yeah,
right, but
it's
also
today for Shayne.
we don't know. We don't know when people are going to listen to the podcast.
Yeah,
that's why I wanted to say the July 15th one.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's cool. That sounds really interesting. And I can't.
For those that haven't seen it, I've just seen it because it's the 15th today.
Of course,
yeah, it's mint. You're gonna watch it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I think I thank you and Sorg for having me on that episode where we talked about iOS 26 and that, and it was pretty cool. He's a great guy and busy man, I tell you.
yes.
Yeah. So,
and
anyway,
before we go real quick, hold on. Just because since I had one on.
Oh yeah.
The world famous Leo.
What's up, Leo?
Yep. And I will say this. There was something amazing that happened tonight when Monty was up here on the desk in front of me. Leo was on a bench just to the left of me. They were 1.5 feet apart, and Leo was not hissing. He was not acting afraid. We've had the baby for 2 weeks now, so Leo's finally warming up to having a new little brother.
That's great.
Oh, cool. Well, he's older and more mature, so that's bound to happen. Leo's
almost he's 14, so
yeah, he's getting up there, and Will says, "Hey, Leo, I'm missing his 9 cats."
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
9. I couldn't imagine.
What do you call 9 cats? Is it what is a group of cats?
I don't know.
Well, for you, it'd be target practice.
I always check for collars.
That was too good. And he's kidding, Will. He's kidding.
I had to look it up. It's a clouder.
A what?
CLOWDER. A clouder of cats.
Also a song from one of my favorite bands, 9 Cats. So it must mean something.
Well, now we know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Will's over there in China. That's if it means something. Surely, that's the most superstitious country in the world would be able to have some sort of answer to what that is. Clouder is what? There you go.
Yeah. I never knew that.
I didn't either.
I didn't know that either.
No.
See, we learn something new every day on this show.
So, do you need to have like 3 cats to have a clouder, or will 2? Because 2 is just 2 cats.
Well, if it's 3, then I have a clouder.
There we go.
Now, what's a group of dogs?
Well, I think it should just be a pack.
I guess it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I only got 2, so just a pair.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, and thanks everybody for hanging out with us on YouTube tonight. And look for the audio coming out in about Wednesday morning my time. So
it's coming out and about.
Out and about. and you notice Shayne has on his tagline there, the only one without an accent. Sorry, the only one without an accent. Without.
It's without.
Oh, that's gold. And mine says, where's my button here? The Canadian, eh?
I remember we used to change that all through the live streams, and you would like sneaky change it through halfway through the live stream just to see how long it took you to, or me, to work out that you'd done it.
Yeah. And we tried to make it as humorous as possible. Yeah. Anyway, okay. All right. Thanks, guys. And thanks, everybody, for watching and listening and whatnot. And I guess we'll see everybody on the next one.
Take care, everyone.
Have a great one, everyone.
See you.